Welcome back, guys, to another video with Sports with Schu. I'm going to be doing a 5-round mock draft for the Los Angeles Chargers. Normally I do PFF's simulator, but I'm doing the Draft Networks today just because they have a different big board. I'm pretty sure they still don't allow for trades, so this one's not going to have any trades in it, even though I kind of want the Chargers to trade back. Obviously depending on how the board falls, but I think next mock draft I do will probably be a 3 or 5 round, one where we end up trading back. But let's get into this mock draft. So Chargers, we're gonna do 5 rounds and stick with the Draft Network's predictive board manual. So let's see. Evan Neal, Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley, Hayden Hutchinson, Icky, Cross, Kayvon. Jermaine Johnson goes top 10. I mean, that would surprise me a little bit on draft day. So it looks like we have some pretty good options here. So the top 3 offensive tackles went. Sauce Gardner went. Drake London. I don't think that I see Drake London getting drafted. Unless I'm blind. Am I blind? Do they not have Drake London in their top 30? Wow. Draft Network has Drake London outside their top 32. Which means, this is no trades, but I would be interested in trading back in this situation, especially in this situation, actually, because now, so we still have Trent McDuffie on the board. Jameson Williams, Trevor Penning, Kenyon Green. This is possibly the highest I've seen him. Karlaftis, I really like at 17. Devin Lloyd is normally around this range. Same with Dean. This is a little bit high for Leal. Is it Leal or Leal? I think it's Leal. Jahan Dotson, Drake London at 34 is crazy to me. Kenneth Walker at 42, Kyler Gordon. So guys I'm thinking here, since we're not trading back, Trayvon Walker I like. I'm definitely higher on Karlaftis. Trevor Penning I would be okay with here, but since there are other guys who slipped on the board, I would rather trade back and still possibly get Penning in the actual draft. Obviously, they have him at 15, so he's probably going to go pretty soon. So right now I'm thinking Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, or one of the receivers probably. But let's just assume in this case, I think Edge is going to be pretty deep into the second round, but if this is how the board fell, I think for this mock draft, I'm going to go either Karlaftis or Trent McDuffie. Chargers have I think, possibly their biggest need this offseason overall is corner. I like Asante Samuel, I like Michael Davis, but really other than those guys, we don't have anybody. Tavon Campbell was horrible last year, so it was Chris Harris. Hopefully he's not on the team next year. Karlaftis and Joey Bosa, that would be a pretty insane edge duo. We do have Uchenna Nwosu depends on if we re-sign him or not, but I do have actually Karlaftis and McDuffie are pretty equal in my mind, but there's a bigger drop off for corner. There's really the top, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys, and then edge. Edge is pretty deep this year, so I think in the first round we're gonna go Trent McDuffie. He's, I want to say 5'11". Do I have stuff? Yeah, 5'11", 195 junior. He's pretty. I mean, he was on the Bruce Feldman's freak list. I saw above average straight line speed, but insane burst and kind of just juice at the position in terms of breaks and sticking with guys. Extremely aggressive in the run game, great tackler, pretty good at the catch point, and 5'11". That's a normal cornerback height, especially for Brandon Staley's scheme. I wouldn't mind, obviously, Sauce Gardner or Stingley's not going to fall to 17, but I think Trent McDuffie is my third highest guy, or my third highest corner this year, and that is who we're going to be going with in the first round. So there we go. Yeah, Penning and Karlaftis go right after. We take McDuffie. So now we're getting. I could see this being how the draft shakes out. There's a couple guys that I would probably move around, mainly Drake London, who just won at the top of the second round. But other than that, I mean, I'm obviously lower on running backs in general. Raymond went right before the Chargers pick. That's almost without a doubt who I would have gone with. So we pick up a corner in the first round. Jalen Petrie at slot corner. Value in terms of getting on the field for a second round pick, I don't know if it would be there. If we would have gone anywhere else, I would strongly consider Petrie here. Travis Jones in the second round. He's on the list. Kyer, wow, they have him at 59. Brian Asamoah, I like. Kennard in the second. He's more of a guard. Arnold Caddy, I like in the second a lot. Drake Jackson in second. Sky Moore. So there's definitely going to be a plethora of options in the later rounds as well. But right now, I think I'm looking most at Travis Jones, Kingsley Enagbare. Is it Enagbare? Kingsley Enagbare, I think. Can't go Kyer, I think, even though that would be pretty insane value in the second. Or Arnold Abichetti. So 2 edge or interior D-line. It kind of depends on what we do in the offseason. Travis Jones he showed out at the Senior Bowl. Really, all 3 of these guys did. I think edge is a more valuable position, and the fact that Abichetti is higher on my board, fringe-ish first rounder, like top of the second. Travis Jones I'd still be happy or okay with in the second round, just like I would have been okay with a Liam McNeil last year in the second round. I think he ended up going to Detroit. But for me, I think I'm higher on Abichetti than Kingsley. So it's either Travis Jones or Arnold, and I think how much he's 6'4", 250. So that's a true edge. Couldn't really move him Inside, yeah, designated pass rush specialist. Wide 9. So true pass rusher, all around edge player. He could develop into. It would just depend on where we're going in the offseason, but I think in terms of value, I'm going to go with Arnold Ebiketie. I really like Travis Jones, even in the second, but in terms of a long-term team building lens, I think getting a cheap edge rusher in the second round who's as good as Arnold Ebiketie, I think that's just a more sustainable way to build a team rather than a second round D tackle who I like and would possibly fill a little bit bigger of a need, but getting cheaper at a premium position like edge and possibly not signing Uchenna Nwosu, I think overall that would have a more net positive impact on the team than Travis Jones, because we can get a run stuffing D tackle later in the tackle. Travis Jones is more than just a run stuffing D tackle, I think, but our need is run stuffing D tackle basically, and we can get that later in the draft. So, third round we have Damone Clark, LSU. Watching him in person, I go to LSU. Super athletic, pretty aggressive tackler, but almost overran too many plays, didn't look great in coverage at all as well. Calvin Austin in the third. That's tough. If we could get him, he is flying up draft boards since the Senior Bowl. He showed out, but he's pretty old. I don't think he's going to be obviously a true number 1. I think he could possibly develop into a number 2. He would be a good number 3. Definitely thrive in the slot. Sky Moore, I would like in the third, probably a little bit more. Way Mafe, Mario Goodrich, Marcus Jones. I know a lot of my viewers liked from that one video. I've talked about Marcus Jones a good amount with guys. Leo Chanel in the third. That one would be interesting. So guys I'm looking at here, wide receivers for sure. A lot of tight ends on the board too, but I think George Pickens, this is still pre-combine, so I really just want to see what George Pickens can do at the combine, how healthy he is. So Calvin Austin, Sky Moore, Wandell. Honestly, Leo Chanel as well. Marcus Jones has a lot of upside, slot corner. He's really old though. I want to say he's almost 24 already. He's would be our return specialist from day one, but I don't think the value's there in the third round. We addressed edge last time, so I think I'm going to go Sky Moore or Calvin Austin. And in the third round, I think I just see a more all-around game from Sky Moore than Calvin Austin in terms of play strength, strength at the catch point. Calvin Austin, super, super explosive, but I just don't think I see the value in round 3. Round 4, yes, but the fact that Sky Moore is here in round 3, I think I'm going to have to give Justin Herbert another weapon to throw to. So I'm trying to remember how many picks I know the Chargers have like 10 or 11 picks. Most of them are in the 7th round. I think we have 2 in the 4th or 5th as well. Positions I'm looking at now, though, possibly D tackle, offensive line for sure, possibly some depth at corner, and then if any, not really, tight ends actually. So none of those guys. Channing Tindall, Kobe Bryant, Josh Jobe, Alec Pierce. I like in the 4th. Do I like him though? I would like him in the 5th or 6th, I think. But the Draft Network, we all know that there's going to be some hidden gems farther down here. Khalil Shakir in the 4th, I would like. We did just pick up Sky Moore, though. Romeo Dukes, Justin Ross. I mean, there are some guys down here, but I think Channing Tindall, Kobe Bryant, not much. I haven't even, I think, heard of Justin Schaefer. I have heard of Tyrese Robinson. I think addressing the O-line wouldn't be a bad idea, but in terms of value, 4th round, Channing Tindall, I think I'm liking the most. 6'1.5", 223. He was a senior. I don't know. Seniors, I feel like they can either be 21, like Chris Olave, or 25. It's so hard to tell. I'm probably going to end up going Tyndall here. Kaiser White is a free agent this year, and I really hope that we bring him back. But outside of Drew Tranquil and Kaiser White, yes, we have Kenneth Murray, but unless he takes a pretty big step forward, I am hoping that he doesn't see the field much. Troy Andersen, also senior, 6'4", 233. They say Troy Andersen is the most versatile player in the 2022 NFL Draft. Wow, not Kyle Hamilton. Oh, he played quarterback, running back, and linebacker at Montana State. That's pretty funny. Pretty impressive as well. Quarterback, running back, and linebacker. So that's just a big, athletic, smart guy, kind of. I haven't watched his tape, though. I've seen more of Channing Tindall just because, obviously, he played at Georgia. So I think that's where I'm going to go with this pick. I was thinking about Kobe Bryant. Definitely Kobe Bryant way ahead of Josh Jobe. And we're getting closer to running back territory. But Justin Jackson is a free agent. We have Austin Eckler. I really think that we can just fill it with either guys we have re-sign Justin Jackson or, I don't know, Jerick McKinnon, unrestricted free agents, just guys that go unpicked, undrafted. Offensive tackles, their number one team need for us. And Max Mitchell's here. That's almost certainly going to be the pick. I would definitely be okay with him in the 5th. I would probably be okay with him in the 4th, for sure. Cole Strange, I also like out of Chattanooga. Damian Pierce, I like. we are starting to get into the territory of recognizing less names. Haskell Garrett, this dude, or was it Haskell Garrett or the? Yeah, it was. This dude struggled at the Senior Bowl. He put on some bad one-on-ones and just did not look great. Justin Ross in the fifth, I would definitely be interested in. But this one's also kind of a no-brainer in terms of both value, need, depth. Max Mitchell, I'll pull this up for you guys. 6'6", 300. I like that they have his date of birth, so that would make him 22, and he's going to be like 22 and a half when he's drafted, which for an offensive tackle, I mean, what's his face just played at 40 in the Super Bowl. I'm blanking on his name, but offensive tackle, it normally even takes a couple of years for them to hit their stride. It was not the case with Rashawn Slater, but age for offensive linemen doesn't matter as much. Almost every other position it does. Quarterback, it also doesn't matter. But Max Mitchell in the fifth, I think that's without a doubt a steal. Potential day one starter, potential. I would rather bring somebody in and have Max Mitchell be our third guy to fill in. But man, in terms of value, that is an absolute steal, I think. And then, so do the Chargers not have? Yeah, so Chargers only have one fifth-round pick. When do we have? I guess we have a lot of sixth and seventh round picks because we only have 5 in the first 5, which means that we have 5 or 6 more picks within 2 rounds, which is crazy. But here we went Trent McDuffie in the first. I think day one, probably starting outside cornerback. I like him a little bit more than Asante Samuel. Obviously, we could just let them battle it out, but either way, Asante Samuel, Trent McDuffie, Michael Davis, that's a pretty good starting trio of corners, and I would want way more depth to build upon that even, but between free agency and later in the draft, I think we can get that. Arnold Ebiketie in the second, I think that's just great value. Getting cheaper at the edge position, whether or not we re-sign Uchenna, Brand Staley likes to rotate his edge guys. So Ebiketie would get on the field regardless, and Joey Bosa occasionally can get bumped inside to rush the passer from like a 3 or 5 tech. And then Sky Moore in the third, probably. I mean, it depends obviously on if we re-sign Mike Williams, but Sky Moore, Josh Palmer, Keenan Allen, possibly Mike Williams. I like that little group right there. I do think that we still need some more speed because Sky Moore, he's an average to slightly above average athlete. He has, similar to Josh Palmer, a slightly above average athlete, but just great route runner, technician, great hands. And then Channing Tindall in the fourth, played for Georgia. He's going to know his assignments. Good depth piece, especially if we don't re-sign Kaiser. And then Max Mitchell in the fifth is kind of the cherry on top. It's a position of need right now just because we can't have Storm Norton start. next season for us, and hopefully Brian Balaga gets cut to save like 10 million. So either somebody from free agency or Max Mitchell and Trey Pipkins can battle it out in training camp, which me saying that out loud makes me think about either drafting a offensive tackle a little bit earlier, or really best case scenarios bringing one or two guys in free agency who have a little bit more experience than Max Mitchell and Trey Pipkins to compete for that right tackle spot. But that is going to do it for this mock draft. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe and comment. I will obviously still be responding to every single comment. Probably within the next couple days, I'm going to do another. It'll probably be a 5-round mock draft, Chargers mock draft with trades. I'll either do PFF or what's the other one? It's not the Draft Network. I'll probably just end up doing PFF because you can trade pretty easily, and they have I think, the best, most realistic board. But you guys can watch out for that within the next couple days. But I will see you guys in the next video.